Harry Potter captured hearts across generations, with magic, friendship, and unforgettable faces. But what really happened to the people behind the characters we loved? Some followed new paths, some quietly disappeared from the spotlight and from life itself. In this video, we'll revisit 12 beloved cast members, what they looked like back then, and the surprising truths behind their final days. One story in particular left fans heartbroken, and you won't believe who it was. If this world meant something to you, hit like and drop a comment with the scene you'll never forget. Wands at the ready. Let's return to the magic. Alan Rickman was the man behind Severus Snape, the cold, bitter potions master who kept us guessing for years, sarcastic, unreadable, and feared by every student at Hogwarts, until one moment changed everything. That twist, when we learned he had been protecting Harry all along out of a lifelong love for Lily Potter, hit fans like a punch to the gut. One word, always. And suddenly the villain became the tragic hero. And Rickman, he was just as mysterious and brave off-screen. He quietly battled pancreatic cancer, never making it public, and passed away in 2016. Just like Snape, he carried his pain in silence. That parallel hits deep. Few people knew this. Rickman was told Snape's full backstory by J.K. Rowling herself before filming even began, years before the books revealed it. He carried that secret for over a decade, and it shaped every subtle glance and line he delivered. With his iconic voice and intense presence, Rickman didn't just play Snape, he became him. Every raised eyebrow, every whisper, pure cinematic magic. He left behind more than just a role. He left behind a legacy of quiet strength, hidden love, and performances that still give us chills. Michael Gambon stepped in after Richard Harris passed, and his Dumbledore was different, stronger, more mysterious. Less of a gentle grandfather and more of a man carrying secrets. His version of Dumbledore wasn't all light and wisdom. There was darkness too, a heavy past, and that made him even more real. Believe it or not, Gambon once admitted he never read the Harry Potter books. He said he didn't need to, he trusted the script. And still, he nailed it. That quiet power, that hidden fire, it was all there. Off-screen, Gambon had that same quiet intensity. He didn't chase the spotlight, but his presence filled every room. In 2023, he passed away from pneumonia at 82, having first taken the role in 2004 at the age of 64. A quiet farewell, just like the man himself. For a whole generation, Gambon is Dumbledore, not the first, but the one we grew up with, the one we believed in. Before Michael Gambon, there was Richard Harris, the original Dumbledore, warm, gentle, and wise. He didn't feel like a wizard from a fantasy story. He felt like someone's grandfather, calm, kind, and always there when you needed him. He played Dumbledore in the first two films, starting in 2001 at the age of 71, and then he was gone. Harris passed away in October 2002, just weeks after wrapping Chamber of Secrets. He was 72. It hit fans hard. We didn't just lose an actor, we lost the feeling of comfort he brought to the screen. Off-screen, Harris was a legendary actor with decades of experience. But fun fact, he almost turned down the role. It was his granddaughter who convinced him, saying, "You have to do it. I won't speak to you again if you don't." He helped build the magic of Hogwarts, one quiet moment at a time. For many, he was the Dumbledore who made us feel safe, the first face of wisdom in a world of chaos. Robbie Coltrane played Hagrid, the big guy with the bigger heart. That beard, that laugh, that coat, it didn't take long to feel like he was family. He took on the role in 2001 at 51. From day one, he was Hagrid, no big speeches needed. He made us feel safe just by being there. Behind the scenes, he was just as caring. He looked out for the young cast like a real protector, and fans still talk about one line he said, "You could be watching Hagrid in 50 years' time. I won't be here, but Hagrid will." It hits different now. Coltrane passed in 2022, age 72, after health struggles. But that feeling he gave us? Still here. Maggie Smith played Professor McGonagall, strict, smart, but always fair. She took on the role in 2001 at 66, and right away you knew she meant business. She didn't raise her voice, she didn't need to. That look, that tone, it was enough to keep any Hogwarts student in line. What's incredible is that in 2009, while filming Half-Blood Prince, she was battling breast cancer. She went through chemo, wore wigs, but didn't miss a single day on set. She just kept going, like McGonagall would have. Maggie passed in 2024 at 89, and yeah, it hurt, because she was McGonagall, that presence, that sharpness, that heart. She wasn't just acting, she was the role, and no one's forgetting that. Richard Griffiths is the uncle who made you really dislike Vernon Dursley, the harsh, controlling figure who made Harry's childhood miserable. He wasn't just an annoying relative, he embodied every paranoid, judgmental adult you'd ever met. Funny thing is, Griffiths was actually one of Britain's most celebrated stage comedians. He brought that rare blend of timing and sarcasm into Vernon, making the character not just despicable but weirdly entertaining. It was genius in disguise. He passed away on March 28, 2013 after complications from heart surgery. That loss hit Potter fans hard, not just because we lost a great actor, but because we lost a face so deeply tied to Harry's early life. Vernon may have been hated, but he's unforgettable, and so is Griffiths. Helen McCroy played Narcissa Malfoy, elegant, proud, and fiercely protective of her son. She wasn't just the perfect aristocrat, she was a mother who would do anything to save Draco. Remember that moment in the Battle of Hogwarts when she wrapped her cloak around Draco, shielding him from danger? That silent act, powerful, tender, and full of fear, spoke louder than any spell. Off-screen, McCrory was known for her commanding presence and deeply serious roles. She brought that same intensity into everything she did. She passed away on April 16, 2021 at just 52 after a battle with cancer. Her loss hit hard because Narcissa wasn't just another character, she was a symbol of protective love. Narcissa wasn't just a parent, she was a warrior in her own right. And McCrory's performance, unforgettable. John Hurt played Garrick Ollivander, the wandmaker whose quiet words carried a strange kind of weight, mysterious, wise, a little unsettling, but oddly comforting. He first appeared in Sorcerer's Stone in 2001 at age 61. Even with just a few scenes, his voice, calm, curious, almost hypnotic, stayed with us. He was once told by a director that his voice was too soft to lead. Decades later, it became one of the most iconic voices in British cinema. He returned for Deathly Hallows, and his presence made every line feel like a secret worth keeping. Off-screen, he was a legend, with a career that spanned everything from Shakespeare to sci-fi. John Hurt passed away in 2017 at age 77 after battling pancreatic cancer. He may not have had much screen time, but his Ollivander, pure magic. Robert Hardy brought Cornelius Fudge to life, the blustering minister of magic who refused to face the truth. He wasn't a villain, but he wasn't a hero either. Just a man in power, too afraid to act. He joined the cast in Chamber of Secrets, 2002, at age 66, and over the next few films became the face of political denial in the wizarding world. Hardy had a long career playing British leaders, even portraying Winston Churchill multiple times. Maybe that's why his Fudge felt so believable, not cartoonish, but painfully real. He passed away in 2017 at the age of 91, and while Fudge was never the most beloved character, he left an impact. Because through all the robes and speeches, he reminded us, even in fantasy, power can be cowardly. Roger Lloyd Pack portrayed Barty Crouch Sr., cold, strict, and unbending. The kind of man who followed rules so tightly he lost the people he loved. He took on the role in Goblet of Fire, 2005, at age 61. And though his screen time was short, the impact was lasting, especially when you realize his own son turned into the very evil he tried to suppress. Lloyd was best known in the UK for his comedic roles, especially in Only Fools and Horses. So seeing him in such a stern, dramatic light was a surprise for many fans. He passed away in 2014 at age 69 after battling pancreatic cancer, and even though Barty Crouch Sr. wasn't the loudest character, his story, one of the most quietly tragic in the whole series. Vern Troyer played the original Griphook, the small goblin with sharp eyes and sharper instincts. He wasn't a hero, he wasn't a villain, he was something in between, and that made him unforgettable. Griphook helped Harry break into Gringotts in Deathly Hallows, then turned on him just moments later. That betrayal? Cold, calculated, and oddly believable. Troyer stood just 2 feet 8 inches tall, but his screen presence was huge. He made a name for himself in Hollywood with roles that pushed boundaries and defied stereotypes. He passed away in 2018 at just 49 years old, and though his time in Harry Potter was brief, it was impactful. Because Griphook reminded us sometimes the smallest characters carry the biggest weight. Paul Grant played one of the goblins at Gringotts, a small role but one that added real texture to the magical world. He didn't have lines. He didn't need them. His presence helped make Gringotts feel real, eerie, bustling, and alive. Appearing in Sorcerer's Stone, 2001, Grant was both an actor and a stunt performer. He also worked on Star Wars and Willow, often behind prosthetics, bringing unforgettable creatures to life. He passed away in 2011 at 56 years old, and while many fans might not know his name, they've seen his work. Because in worlds built on magic and wonder, every background figure matters, and Paul Grant was one of those unsung heroes who made it all believable. Daniel Radcliffe became Harry Potter at just 12 years old, the boy under the stairs who grew into the hero of a generation. From the moment he stepped on screen in 2001, that face, those glasses, and that lightning scar became part of childhood for millions. Surprisingly, he was originally auditioning for a different movie, Aragon. But something about his quiet curiosity and honest eyes changed everything. He didn't just play Harry, he was Harry. Now 35, Radcliffe has taken his career in bold directions, offbeat indie films, dark comedies, even singing and dancing on Broadway. He's proved he's more than a boy wizard. He's a real actor with range, wit, and heart. Still, no matter how far he goes, there's something about that face, that look. It takes people right back to Hogwarts, where magic felt real and courage looked like a skinny kid holding a wand. Emma Watson became Hermione Granger at just 11, the clever, brave witch who made intelligence cool and loyalty powerful. She reportedly auditioned 8 times before landing the role, and in her final screen test, the scene had to be reshot 27 times. Every look, every breath, captured the spirit of the character that would define a generation. Off-screen, Watson mirrored Hermione's values. She graduated from Brown University, became a UN Women Goodwill Ambassador, and launched the He for She campaign for gender equality. She turned intellect into activism, quietly, thoughtfully, and fearlessly. Now 34, she's taken on new roles both on and off screen, but to millions she'll always be Hermione, smart, fearless, and unforgettable. Rupert Grint stepped into Ron Weasley's shoes at just 12, bringing warmth, humor, and loyalty to Hogwarts. As the audience watched Harry's journey, Ron was the friend everyone rooted for, funny, real, and always by his side. He once shared that his biggest on-set fear wasn't magic or props, it was topping it with Daniel's performance. Yet he embraced the role fully, giving Ron a heart and humor all his own. Now 36, Rupert has shifted into darker, more varied roles, but every time he cracks a grin or drops a quip, it's unmistakably Ron. He's also behind the camera and off stage, exploring music, art, and even launching his own production company. Still, no matter how far his career goes, that easygoing loyalty keeps him grounded in our memories. Ralph Fiennes transformed into Lord Voldemort at age 42, the cold, commanding face of fear in the wizarding world. From the moment he appeared, there was no doubt. This was Voldemort, with that chilling presence and calculated menace. Early in filming, Fiennes kept his head shaved to embody the character's skeletal appearance. He later revealed it took over 2 hours under makeup every morning to perfect the look. That commitment brought an unforgettable intensity to every scene. Now 62, Fiennes continues to deliver powerful performances across film and theater, but whenever fans see that pale head and piercing stare, they remember Voldemort, the villain who could stop hearts with a whisper. Helena Bonham Carter took on the wild, unhinged role of Bellatrix Lestrange in her early 40s, a character so fierce and chaotic she's unforgettable. She said that her first fitting of the costume and that iconic crazy hair was like stepping into madness. Bellatrix wasn't just a role, it was an experience, a blend of dark humor and deep insanity perfectly embodied by Helena's fearless commitment. Now 58, she continues to build a career full of bold, eccentric roles, from fantasy to real-world dramas. But whenever she flashes that mischievous grin or lets out that chilling laugh, fans go right back to Bellatrix, the high-voltage force of chaos who thrived on every page and screen. Jason Isaacs stepped into the crisp suit and pale demeanor of Lucius Malfoy at age 39, embodying aristocratic menace with every carefully measured glance. His portrayal revealed a man obsessed with power and prestige, and Isaacs brought just the right mix of charm and chill. He once mentioned in interviews that the snake cane Lucius always carried wasn't just a prop, it was part of the character's persona. He'd grip it firmly, as if reminding himself that Lucius was always in control, even when fear lurked beneath the silk. Now 62, Isaacs continues to thrive in television and film, often returning to villainous roles with surprising depth. But whenever he tips his head, presses his lips thin, or gives that steely gaze, Lucius Malfoy instantly comes back, reminding us how power can corrupt, even in the purest circles. Matthew Lewis was 11 when he became Neville, the shy, clumsy kid no one expected to be a hero. In the early films, he wore a fat suit, fake teeth, and ear prosthetics. He once joked he didn't even recognize himself. And during a broomstick scene in Sorcerer's Stone, he was so scared of heights they had to strap him to a crane to get the shot. As Neville grew, so did Matthew. By the final film, he stood tall, confident, and fearless, the one who destroyed the last Horcrux and helped end the war. Now 35, Lewis continues acting, supports education and sports charities, and serves as vice president of the Leeds Rugby Foundation. He said he won't return for the Max reboot, but to fans, he'll always be the quiet kid who proved bravery doesn't need to be loud. Bonnie Wright stepped into the role of Ginny Weasley at just 10 years old in 2001, the youngest member of the trio's next generation, full of spunk and determination. Though she started with smaller parts in the first films as Ginny grew up, Bonnie's character blossomed into a key player. From first crush moments with Harry to fierce fighter in the Battle of Hogwarts. Behind the scenes, Bonnie was always the thoughtful type. She once shared that during intense battle shoots, she'd go home and sketch her feelings, using art to process all the dark themes and emotions from set. Now 34, Bonnie continues acting while directing and producing short films, often exploring stories about identity and empowerment. Even as she's branched behind the camera, every time she speaks or laughs, there's that unmistakable Ginny warmth, brave, loyal, and ready for anything. Mark Williams brought Mr. Weasley to life starting at age 43 in 2002, the warm, slightly goofy father who adored all things Muggle. His kindness and gentle humor made the Weasley family feel like everyone's second home. Behind the scenes, Williams was known for making the set feel like a family gathering. He often surprised cast and crew with impromptu jokes or random facts about Britain's countryside, keeping spirits high even on long shooting days. Now 65, he continues acting in TV, film, and theater, but it's Mr. Weasley's kindness and wisdom that fans remember most. Whenever you see that easy smile or gentle chuckle, you can't help but feel the warmth of the Weasley family at heart. James and Oliver Phelps were just 14 when they became the Weasley twins, Fred and George, the kings of chaos at Hogwarts. Full of pranks, one-liners, and heart, they weren't just comic relief, they were family. Funny thing, they had no formal acting experience. They just showed up to the open audition because they thought it might be fun. And somehow they walked out with two of the most unforgettable roles in the series. Over the years, they've stayed close, working on acting projects, hosting a travel podcast, and meeting fans all over the world. Even though Fred didn't make it to the end of the battle, in real life, James and Oliver are still bringing laughter and that Weasley magic wherever they go. Julie Walters took on the beloved role of Molly Weasley starting at age 51 in 2001, the warm-hearted mom whose love and fierceness became the heart of the Weasley family. With her signature roar of, "Not my daughter, you witch!" during the Battle of Hogwarts, she showed us exactly why family and courage go hand in hand. Off-screen, Walters is known for her quick wit and big laugh, the kind of person you instantly want to have a cup of tea with. She's a natural storyteller, always ready to deliver both laughter and wisdom in equal measure. Now 75, Walters continues to grace stage and screen with roles that blend heart and humor. But for fans, she'll always be the woman who made us believe in old-fashioned love, fiery protection, and the power of family magic. Some faces are still with us. Some we've had to say goodbye to. But every one of them made the wizarding world unforgettable. Their stories didn't end with the credits. They live on in us. Like the video, share it, and drop a comment. Who left the biggest mark on your journey?